Very good morning, students. Students, now today we will study chapter 7's short run equilibriums output, right? First of all, students, we understand the contents of these chapters, right? Then we go one by one, right? The concept of short runs and concept of equilibrium output and GDP, right? Determination of equilibrium output, GDP, a aggregate supply and aggregate demand approach, and saving and investment approach. Shift in equilibrium impact if additional investment delta I, right, and investment multiplier, right. Students, now students, first of all we are studying these chapters. We understand some fundamental things, right? Types of the productions functions, right? The short run production function and long run production function. First we understand what is the short run production function. It is the time period in which the production of a commodity is increased by increasing the use of only variables inputs, means the variable input like labor and raw material, while the fixed remains constant. Means in the short runs productions functions, uh, fixed input remain constant, means the fixed capital remain constants. Machinery, buildings, these are the constant, but the labors and other factor of raw materials, these are variable factor are changes, right? And long run production function, that time period in which production of commodity can be increased by employing both the variables and the fixed inputs, right? It means the production and functions can employing by can vary the both the change both the variables, either it is constant or variables, fixed or constant variable, constant variables, right, or variables, both variables and the fixed, means the fixed variables or the variables, we can say that the constant, right? The constant is that is the fixed input, and other are variable inputs like raw materials. First we understand the inputs type of input. One is the fixed input, other are the variable input which change time to times. But like machinery we buy from the markets, so we cannot change it suddenly, but the labor we can change day to day, we can increase it, but because the machinery and the fixed asset are very costly, so we can't change these things, right? So first we understand these two things, right? To understand the types of productions, these are the two short run. And now understand the short runs means according to the Keynes period, during the times level of output is determined by the level of employment in the economy. So we understand it, the level of output of production is determined by the employment, total level of employments, right? So you understand the types of production function. Short run inputs kept constant, like one input labor is varied. Long run variable are varying all input, means all input are none input is constant. Law of variable proportion, law of return scales, right? So you understand is the short run, what I have already explained you. Short run and long run cost. How is the operating period defines? At least one point is fixed in the short run, but all points are variable in the long run. Means in long run the fixed asset and fixed input and the variable input both can be changes, right? Fixed and variable cost. Fixed cost is a short run concept, and all costs are the variable in long run cost, right? Now we understand high level in the short run and long run. The reference to time period involved in production process is another important concept used in production. Short run refer to period of time in which the supply of certain input is fixed or is inelastic, right? The long run refer to a period of time in which supply of input is inelastic but not enough to be permit a change in technology, right? So students, we understand it, short runs and concept of the short runs, classification of the short run, also long runs. I have already explained you, you can understand it also. Here you can understand the perspective of the perspective period in economic express the concept that economy we have differently depending on the length of time has to be react certain, right? The variable input and factor input is a resources that can be changed in the short run are factor of production that change with output. Fixed input factor, or we can say the it is a resource that cannot be changed in short run. Means these are the means we have a fixed input and variable input. These are not changed. Are factor that do not change with output, right? So we understand it, the concept of the short runs and short run and long runs, right? Thanks for watching this, student. Have a great day ahead.